Hello, everyone, and welcome to Talking Tea Time with Dr. G and the Doctors. I'd like to welcome you to another episode. Usually, I would share one of my favorite teas, but for the month of May, I decided to do a detox. So I am simply sipping on some wonderful, refreshing water. When we return, we are continuing to celebrate moms. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
How you doing?
Hey, Mason.
Hey, Mason.
Thank you.
A place to make my own. A place that I call home. This place that I call home.
Welcome back to Talking Tea Time with Dr. G and the Doctors. I have to introduce my fabulous co-host. So, hey, Miss Dr. Smith, how are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you today?
I'm doing awesome. And the Dr. Levon Singleton. How are you, sir?
What's up, Tish?
We are so honored to be celebrating Mother's Day, so we decided that we were going to do some celebrating of moms because moms are so wonderful in our lives. And so we are so blessed and fortunate to have in the studio with us today two women who we think are just phenomenal women, and they are moms in their own right. So I would like to take the time to introduce these two beauties, and I would like to start with Shalonda Lanice Williams. Welcome
Hi.
to Talking Tea Time with Dr. G and the Doctors.
Thank you.
And we would also like to welcome Angelia Gower. Welcome.
Thank you.
First and foremost, ladies, we would like to thank you all just for, taking the time out to come on our platform. And we've been celebrating moms, the month of May is Mother's Day. And so we just decided to take a little extended time to honor some other women that we feel are phenomenal moms. And so I'm going to yield the floor to Dr. Smith, and she's going to start this conversation.
Well, thank you both for coming. I want to say that first and foremost. And just to give our viewers a little bit of history about both of you before you start answering some of our questions. Shalonda, you don't biologically have any children.
No.
So I want people to understand that sometimes you can be a mother and not biological have children. And Angelina, I know that you have inherited a child over the past few years. So sometimes mothers don't come in the form of pushing out a child, but in care of loving a child.
Yes.
So one of my first questions for both of you, especially you, Shalonda, you have had to show unconditional love by something that you did not birth. What has that journey been like for you?
Great question. I would say that it was a learning experience with every child. You learn something different. You learn how to love them on the level which they came. You don't change them. You learn to adapt with who they are, and you love them right there. The biggest thing is the journey has been up and down. You have some that you're able to actually love unconditionally, and then you have some that put up a block. They don't want to be loved, and that's probably the hardest part, but you have to love them through it. So the journey has been up and down, but it's been, yeah.
So when you say children, because I don't want people to think like, so explain to us, so are you a foster mom, or like what are you?
I am a foster mom.
Okay.
I'm a foster mom through DCFS
Oh,
of
okay.
Illinois. And prior to that, I actually was a foster mom without the license, raising 3 kids, 5 and 6, all the way up until 21.
Really?
And then I had
Okay.
one all the way up until she was 12. So, yeah.
So, Angelia, you have had 2 children of your own. So, I would like for you to discuss that process and how mothering 2 of your own, but then suddenly you've had to inherit one that you didn't biologically have, and what raising that child looked like for you.
So I do have 2 biological children that are boys. It was great, in a great relationship, leading them to manhood, and you know, just it's a joy to have children. They teach you a lot while we think we're teaching them. They're teaching us a lot as well. So everything went well with them, off to either college or military. So it was a good relationship and a good bonding experience with them. My inherited, I call him my nepson, because he's my nephew as well. So I tragically lost my sister when my nephew was 16 years old. I was an empty nester for probably about 5 years before that happened. So I was used to and accustomed to being at home alone and doing and going when and I want. Raising him was a challenge in the beginning, one, because it was something that was very unexpected. I was really thinking that his sister was going to take him, and she was like, "No, TT, I can't do this." I was like, okay. So taking him on was a challenge. I had to rethink a lot of things. I had to learn how to not just reparent him, but reparent myself, because he was still in school. He still had 2 more years of school, and I needed to get him through school and then to the next phase of his life. So it was a challenge. The first year was really, really challenging, just because I was a strict parent with my 2 kids, and I wanted to be strict with him, but I had to do him differently. I had to treat him differently because he had just lost his mother. Not saying that I treated him differently than I treated my own kids, because they lost their father while they were in high school as well. So they were able to actually help me and teach him some things about what was going to happen next. They were able to actually help him and guide him on, like, when I'm saying things, on what to do and what not to do, how he should go in life and how he shouldn't go in life. So it was a challenge. The first year was real challenging, but I can say now it's just like sending another one of my kids off. So the bond was there, but I bonded with him even more after his mother died, because he needed that motherly love. And we had to learn to love him the way that he needed to be loved.
Right. So, Shalonda, let me ask you this question. What made you want to be a foster mom?
Actually, in our house, my mom was a foster mom. And to this day, probably 50% of the kids that she took in were still like siblings. So I seen the need, because I take mostly teenagers and probably the kids that a lot of people wouldn't take. So I opened my home to them because my mom did it, and they became my siblings. And now I'm glad that I had that experience, because my siblings that were my foster siblings, they are my actual sisters and brothers, and I see because my mom gave them a chance, I'm able to give somebody else a chance. Right. So although the system says that they are menaces to society, I'm like, no, this could be my sister or my brother, so I take it in, so it's all because of my mom.
Okay, and then with you, Angelia, what was that deciding factor for you to say, I have to take my nephew in, I have to become, he has to become my neph's son? What was that final deciding factor?
The final deciding factor is when we were at the graveyard. And when we got home, it was like, well, where's he gonna go?
Right.
He had to go back to school that following week. And so it was like, okay, just come with me. Yeah, and while she was sick, he were already going back and forth with me anyway. But that deciding factor was when they put her in that graveyard. It was like, in her grave, I had to do this.
Right.
Because no one else, was going to do it.
Exactly.
So that was the deciding factor.
All right, Dr. Singleton.
Wow. So you described some challenges in raising boys, and you raised 3 boys, correct?
2.
Two boys. So tell me about just some of the things that you had to, from a woman's stance, that you had to teach a man. Tell me about some of those things.
I think after their father died, by him dying when they were in high school, it was teaching them about dating, teaching them about how to treat a woman, teaching them about how to be a man out in the streets, what to do, what not to do. It was a lot. Because at first I was dependent on my husband's friends to help. But normally when somebody died, that goes away. So I had to learn to do that on my own. So I did a lot of reading and a lot of research as well.
Wow. Shalonda.
Yes, sir.
So talk about. So I assume some of the children that you fostered were men as well. Talk about how you raised them and some things that you learned.
Yeah, a lot of the kids that I actually have are boys.
Okay.
I actually have 3 boys right now. And the challenges that I have with them is just like she said, she's able to probably teach them about dating, or you want to have the birds and the bees talk with them. The difference with me is they come already knowing the birds and the bees. They've already been exposed, and 9 times out of 10 is not being exposed in the right way.
Right.
So you have challenges coming into your home already. So I'm literally on guard probably 24/7 in my own home.
Wow. So we're going to take a quick break, and when we return, we are going to continue celebrating these 2 wonderful moms. We'll be right back.
There's so many rewards in life. You coming into our home was one of the greatest rewards we could have ever had.
You know, it took 20 years, and I got my 3rd child, who was 17 at the time.
It's so cool to watch the adult that you've become, and you really have done as much for us as you think we've done for you.
Welcome back to Talking Tea Time with Dr. G and the Doctors. And if you are just tuning in, we are still celebrating moms. And we are so honored to have with us this evening Shalonda Williams and Angelia Gower. So, Shalonda, let me ask you this question. For someone that is wanting to become a foster mom, what type of advice would you give to this person?
I would definitely say to this person that you have to know the age limit that you want to take into your home. You want to consider the kids that you already have in your home. You want to consider the sex of the kids that you already have, your own biological or your own bonus kids. You have to take all of that into consideration when you're going into foster care because, again, you're bringing kids into your home that don't come from, normal backgrounds. So that would be the biggest advice I can, give a person. Consider who's in your home, what kids you have, the sex of the kids, and know what type of kids you want to take in.
Okay, and Angelia, if, you came across someone that happened to be in the same predicament that you were in, what would you say to those individuals?
I think the main thing that I would say is that they have to be prepared. Mentally and physically, they have to have a relationship with Christ, because without that relationship, you tend to stray away from the kids. Don't want to get involved, especially in this day and age, because of everything that really going on with a lot of kids. That they really have to pray and think about before taking on a child, because it can be challenging. Kids are just different these days than when mine grew up.
Yes, that's true. All righty, doctor.
So being leaders in your house, because I'm a leader in my house and I am a single parent, we are faced with challenges that keep us up at night. So if you could think back over some of those challenges that kept you up at night, what would you do different with your foster kids? What would you do different with your 2 kids? If you could change back the times for our audience, because we have a lot of young mothers out there that are trying to figure it out, that are single, and I'm sure they're wanting to give up. I'm sure they're wanting to throw in the towel. I know I would tell them to keep going. That would be my advice. You know, it's always a better day than today. But what advice do you give them? Because I'm sure your nephew kept you up at night. I'm sure your kids kept you up at night. And I'm definitely sure something you didn't birth kept you up at night.
Yes.
So what advice can you give these women that are single that want to throw in their towel sometimes?
I think the best advice that I can give them is to keep going. Don't give up, because when you give up on the child, you're giving up on yourself as well. And stay connected to Christ, because that is the only way that you can get through some of those hard nights because of kids wanting to be out. So it's stay connected, develop a relationship, but don't give up on yourself and don't give up on that child.
I would say about the same thing. You definitely have to be faith-based. You have to believe. You have to have a relationship with Christ to deal with a lot of the things that you're dealing with. So don't give up on them because you might be that last person to believe in them. And that would make all the difference.
So let me ask this here, and children are a wonderful gift from God. And in both your situations, you all encountered children that I would imagine have gone through some socio-emotional challenges, the trauma, behind just growing up without your real parent. The want to know, who. If it were me, I'd always want to know who was my mom and why did mom not raise me, What about those kind of socio-emotional challenges, the trauma? How do you deal with it? Or is there professional services involved? Is there counseling involved? And then I want you to answer the question, is it okay to share their real family stories, who their real parents are? Do you have those conversations on why they are where they are? Or is that just kind of not discussed? Shalonda?
Right. I would say we do have the school district where we are. They have counseling that they do with every kid that comes in through the foster care. That's something that's set up from the door. And then also the ones with trauma, they have things in place where they do go to a counselor probably like once a week. And that's something that actually DCFS makes sure that they have as part of the plan. They have a certain plan for each child. And for each child, if they do have trauma, that's a must that they have counseling. And a lot of them do have questions about why or their situation. And these days they're now able to get in contact. If the caseworker, it's their job to reach out to not only the parent, but if you can't find the parent, you can reach out to the next of kin.
Wow.
So that's something that they do different now that they didn't do back then.
Wow. That is something. I think that is so powerful because, had it been any of us, had it been me for sure, you want to know your family tree,
Absolutely.
your family
Absolutely.
history.
Absolutely.
And everybody may not have shared the same trajectory. And, people are in foster care and you inherit children for different reasons. But I would always want to know in the back of my mind, why? Where's my mom? And so that is amazing that the system has evolved now where they allow that contact.
They allow it now.
I think that is so phenomenal.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So.
Okay. Again, the month of May celebrating Mother's Day. And so we decided that we wanted to celebrate not only our moms, but women that we felt like were just amazing women. And so I really appreciate you all coming on this platform and just being transparent with us. And we honor you all. And besides, you know, you all have a lot in common, but the one thing that I think is really, really important and sticks out with me is that both of you all are women of the cloth. And I think that by you all having that relationship with God and being women of the cloth, it really helps you all every day to say, I have to keep doing this.
Absolutely.
And when your feet hit the floor in the morning, all right, God, you already know what I need from you today. And so, you know, on behalf of the team, we just applaud you all for being phenomenal women, phenomenal mothers, because if it had not been for you all, these children they may be lost. And so you all have given them something that some children, they just don't have. So Dr. Smith, would you like to add anything to that?
I just appreciate Shalonda and Angelina for stepping outside of your comfort zone with love, because I am a mother and I have birthed mine. I don't know what it's like to inherit something that's not mine and step outside of the love that I already have, you know, for mine to share it with somebody else, especially a stranger. You know, that speaks volumes. That speaks volumes for people that open their home up to strangers, because we already have problems inside our family. So then you start bringing problems that are outside of your family into your home and showing that person unconditional love. So I want to applaud both of you for really trusting in God first and then stepping out your comfort zone second.
Thank you.
Yeah, I too want to just applaud you and commend you for the work that you're doing. All children are special, and to know that, you know, even children that are in the foster care system and children that, you know, you didn't plan to give a home to know that there are people out there who care about those children. I think it speaks volume. I commend you for the work that you're doing. Folks certainly don't go in foster care for the money, because I know the money. The money. I would often hear people share, you know, stories about, you know, we might get a few $100s here and there, you know, but you literally have to love what you do, because it will literally cost you. You know, so this is not something that, you know, you look in and there's no profit. This is not a not-for-profit business.
Not at all. I've lost more than I gained.
Again, I commend you ladies for stepping up to the plate when other moms may have failed their children. And all kids are not in the foster system because their parents failed them. Okay, let's not put that out there. Sometimes giving up a child is the best decision when you know that you're not a fit parent. And you all were there on the receiving ends to say, if you can't give them the love that they deserve, then let me do it. And so I commend you ladies for stepping up to the plate. I really do.
And so on behalf of Talking Tea Time with Dr. G and the doctors, we would like to present you all just a little token to say we think you all are phenomenal women and phenomenal mothers, and keep up the good work.
Thank you.
And so we just want you all to know that we really, really, really do appreciate you all. We think highly of you all, and just thank you again for taking the time out to stop by Talking Tea Time with Dr. G and the doctors.
Thank you.
When we be back, Dr. Smith's going to share the tip of the day.
Dad?
Just 1 minute, okay?
Hey, Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Do clouds take naps?
I couldn't tell you.
Can birds draw pictures?
I don't have an answer for that.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look!
Go to that.
I don't remember how it started.
Oh boy.
Our back and forth. Victory. Fumble. Repeat. It always came back.
Okay, here we go, throw it!
You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
Nice.
Welcome back to Talking Tea Time with Dr. G and the Doctors. And we are now going to hear from Dr. Smith with our tip of the day.
So today we have heard from two different women in two totally different situations. But one thing has remained the same, and that's unconditional love. That is the nurturing side that they have displayed. So the tip of the day is always show love in all situations, because at the end of the day, that's what truly blesses you, is showing true and valuable, genuine care of someone. Whether you birth them, whether you have inherited them, no matter the situation, one thing stays the same, and that's love. So, love your neighbor. At the end of the day, love your neighbor. Thank you.
So once again, thank you all so much, ladies. We think that you all are awesome. Stay tuned, you guys, to see what's going to be coming up next on Talking Tea Time with Dr. G and the Doctors. Bye-bye.
If you love them enough to relearn math so you can teach them math, then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat to make sure they're correctly buckled in the back seat.
A free 3-minute online chat can give you the personalized tips you need to start boosting your retirement savings today.